Many people dismiss walking as a passive, almost insignificant activity, a mere placeholder when they cannot find the time for a rigorous, high-intensity workout. But this is a profound biological misunderstanding. Long before you notice any visible changes on the scale or in the mirror, your body has already initiated a complex series of internal transformations. This does not take weeks or months. It begins on day one. Today, we will trace the precise biological pathway of what occurs inside your brain, your heart, your metabolism, and your skeletal system when you commit to a simple daily walk. We will examine how transient reactions turn into permanent structural adaptations. Let us break this down step by step, starting with the very first minutes of your walk. In these initial moments, your body is performing a critical assessment. It is evaluating whether this physical effort is a brief anomaly or a sustained signal that warrants a real systemic response. Next, we will pinpoint the exact metabolic threshold where your body shifts its primary fuel source, transitioning from quick-burning sugars to deep-stored fat reserves. Then, we will explore the critical adaptation zone, the boundary where your physiological systems transition from temporary survival reactions to permanent, healthy restructuring. Finally, we will analyze the cumulative power of weeks of consistency, illustrating how daily repetition completely reprograms your vascular, metabolic, and neurological baselines. To understand this, we look to extensive research from the University of Kansas, which has studied the direct relationship between physical activity and brain structural integrity for years. Their findings were absolute. A sedentary lifestyle actively accelerates cognitive decline and brain tissue atrophy, but a simple habit of walking can halt and even reverse this process. When you take your first steps, your body is in suspense. It does not yet know if you are serious or if this movement will last long enough to justify mobilizing its deeper resources. But as you continue, your heart rate begins to rise. This is not the explosive, stressful spike associated with sprinting, but a controlled, highly therapeutic elevation. Your heart beats faster and more efficiently, delivering vital oxygen and nutrients to your active tissues, without placing excessive mechanical stress on your cardiovascular system. Simultaneously, a remarkable process occurs within your blood vessels. The increased volume of blood moving through your arteries creates a gentle friction against the vessel walls. This friction is detected by the endothelium, the delicate single layer of cells lining your blood vessels. In response, it immediately releases a powerful compound, nitric oxide. Nitric oxide acts as a natural signal for the smooth muscles surrounding your arteries to relax. Think of it as a multi-lane highway expanding to accommodate an influx of traffic. This expansion instantly reduces the physical pressure exerted on your arterial walls. Over time, this daily exercise keeps your blood vessels highly flexible, resilient, and biologically younger. According to the American Heart Association, walking for 30 minutes a day provides the exact same cardiovascular protection as running because consistency matters far more than raw intensity. Your heart does not require you to push it to its absolute mechanical limits to stay healthy. It simply needs a regular, sustained signal to activate its natural protective pathways. During these first 10 minutes, your muscles are primarily fueled by glucose. This sugar is readily available in your bloodstream and stored directly within your muscle cells as glycogen. Glucose is a highly efficient, fast-acting fuel, but your body's reserves are limited. As you cross the 10-minute mark of continuous movement, a fundamental metabolic shift begins. Sensing the sustained physical demand, your pancreas begins to reduce its secretion of insulin. This is a crucial biological cue that completely alters your metabolic state. With insulin levels lowered, your body receives the signal that it no longer needs to store energy. Instead, it must mobilize its long-term energy reserves, your stored body fat. These fat cells, known as adipocytes, begin to release free fatty acids directly into your bloodstream. These acids are transported to your working muscles to be oxidized for fuel. Through this process, your body actively learns to become more metabolically flexible. It transitions from relying solely on dietary sugars to efficiently burning stored fat. This shift does not happen because you are moving at an extreme breathless pace. It happens because you are moving long enough for your endocrine system to respond and adapt. A landmark study conducted by Duke University compared runners with walkers over a 6-month period, analyzing key markers of metabolic health and insulin sensitivity. The results were astonishing. The walking group improved their systemic glucose tolerance 6 times more than the running group, demonstrating the profound power of moderate, sustained exercise. This is because your metabolic machinery does not require high-intensity strain to optimize. It requires duration and consistent repetition to retrain its cellular pathways. For individuals managing prediabetes, or those simply wishing to optimize their energy levels, a daily walk is often far more effective than high-intensity interval training. By walking regularly, you give your pancreas a much-needed rest, training your cells to require less insulin to clear glucose from your bloodstream. As your walk progresses past the 20-minute mark, you enter a profound physiological threshold. This is where simple reaction ends and structural adaptation begins. Let us examine this system by system, starting with the organ that defines your daily experience, your brain. As you walk, your brain begins to manufacture a vital protein. This protein is called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. Scientists frequently refer to BDNF as a high-potency fertilizer for your nervous system. BDNF actively stimulates the birth of new neurons, protects your existing brain cells from metabolic stress, and strengthens the synaptic connections between them. Most impressively, BDNF targets the hippocampus, the deep brain structure, responsible for consolidating short-term memory into long-term learning. The University of Kansas confirmed this directly via neuroimaging. While sedentary individuals experience a steady loss of brain volume over time, those who walk actually recover it. This is not a subtle, subjective improvement in mood. It is a measurable, physical expansion of your brain's cognitive centers, visible on clinical resonance scans. This structural growth directly enhances your memory retention, elevates your capacity to learn complex skills, and builds a robust cognitive reserve against dementia. Now, let us examine your skeletal system. It is easy to view bones as static, mineralized structures, but they are dynamic, living tissues that respond directly to mechanical force. Every time your foot strikes the ground during a walk, a microscopic electrical current is generated within your bone matrix, a biological phenomenon known as piezoelectricity. This subtle electrical signal acts as a direct command to specialized cells called osteoblasts, which are responsible for synthesizing new, dense bone tissue. While high-impact activities like running can sometimes cause stress fractures, and sitting generates no signal at all, walking strikes the perfect biological balance. It provides enough mechanical stimulation to trigger bone remodeling without subjecting your joints and skeletal frame to excessive wear and tear. The Arthritis Foundation strongly recommends 30 minutes of daily walking to reduce joint inflammation, lubricate articular cartilage, and preserve bone density. This brings us to a hidden beneficiary of walking, your spine. Your intervertebral discs are unique because they do not possess a direct, dedicated blood supply. Instead, these discs function like biological sponges. They rely entirely on a mechanical pumping action to absorb nutrient-rich fluids and expel cellular waste products. The gentle, rhythmic compression and release of each step you take creates this exact pumping effect, hydrating and nourishing your spinal discs naturally. If you remain seated all day, your spinal discs gradually dehydrate, compress, and become prone to injury. Walking is the natural antidote, keeping your spine flexible. Simultaneously, your gastrointestinal system is also responding to this rhythmic movement. Your intestines are lined with smooth muscle that requires physical activity to function. Walking stimulates peristalsis, the wave-like muscular contractions that move food and waste efficiently through your digestive tract, preventing stagnation. A massive epidemiological study involving over 150,000 participants revealed a direct correlation between physical inactivity and colon cancer risk. Those who walked regularly, even at a moderate, comfortable pace, significantly reduced their risk of gastrointestinal disease by keeping their digestive systems active. Did you realize that such a simple, accessible activity could trigger such a vast array of complex biological responses within just 30 minutes? Let me know in the comments. Unfortunately, many people abandon their walking routine during the second or third week, precisely before these transient benefits solidify into permanent adaptations. What happens during a single walk is highly beneficial, but the true biological magic occurs when you repeat this practice every single day for several weeks. This is the point where temporary physiological reactions transform into permanent structural health. Your heart does not just pump better during your walk. It adapts to pump more blood with every single beat, lowering your resting heart rate and reducing the daily workload on your entire cardiovascular system. Your blood vessels do not just dilate temporarily. They undergo structural remodeling, becoming permanently more elastic, supple, and resistant to plaque buildup. Your pancreas becomes permanently more efficient, maintaining optimal blood glucose control 24 hours a day, even while you are asleep or resting. And your brain maintains elevated baseline levels of BDNF, continuously protecting your cognitive function, enhancing focus, and preserving your memory. Additionally, a daily walking routine systematically reduces your circulating levels of cortisol, the primary hormone associated with chronic destructive stress. At the same time, it stimulates a steady release of endorphins, your body's natural pain relievers and mood elevators, fostering a deep sense of mental well-being. Iowa State University studied students experiencing severe depressive symptoms. Those who walked for 30 minutes daily showed profound, lasting improvements in mood. This was not a superficial distraction. It was a physical reprogramming of their brain chemistry, proving that movement is a potent biological intervention. However, these profound benefits do not occur by accident. Walking aimlessly, slowly, or while distracted by your phone is simply not enough to stimulate adaptation. To trigger real biological change, you must apply a simple, structured framework. We call this the FIT formula: frequency, intensity, and time. Let us break down each element. First is frequency. Ideally, you should walk every single day. If you are starting out, aim for 3 to 5 times per week. Your cellular biology does not adapt to isolated sporadic efforts. It adapts to a steady, predictable signal. 5 minutes every day is far better than once a week. Second is intensity. This is where many fail. Walking too slowly does not raise your heart rate enough to trigger the vascular and metabolic benefits we discussed. A reliable practical guide is the conversation test. You should be moving fast enough that you can speak comfortably, but would find it difficult to sing. This ideal pace generally falls between 3 and 5 kilometers per hour. You do not need to run, but you must feel your cardiovascular system actively working. Third is time. 30 minutes is the critical daily threshold where these deep physiological adaptations are fully activated and sustained. If 30 consecutive minutes is too challenging initially, you can divide it into 2 15-minute walks or 3 10-minute blocks throughout your day. 6,000 steps is an excellent baseline goal for beginners. 10,000 steps is a superb target once you have established a solid physical foundation. Remember to stay hydrated. A dehydrated body cannot optimize its cardiovascular output or regulate its core temperature effectively during exercise. Ensure you wear supportive, high-quality footwear. Walking in flat, worn-out shoes can alter your gait, putting unnecessary stress on your arches, ankles, and knees. Your body is not a broken machine that requires extreme, exhausting protocols to fix. It simply requires a consistent, gentle, and natural physical signal. Walking is the perfect, biologically optimized signal. From your very first step, your heart, your metabolism, your bones, and your brain begin their journey of renewal. If this clinical breakdown helped you understand your body, subscribe to A Scientific Life. To explore how your metabolism adapts to other daily habits, watch the next video.